Hey everybody, Sean McInnes here, and today we're going to have a look at Guncraft. I've got Ted Lang, executive producer, on the title. Ted, for anybody out there who is just brand new to this game, how do you describe Guncraft?
Guncraft is the marriage between everything people have loved about games like Minecraft, the creativity aspect of building whatever you can possibly imagine, and the love of, like we all have, shooting their friends in the face on any FPS. And just bringing those together so that you can get as creative as you want, and then you can bring that into servers and team deathmatch and all those familiar FPS type of games.
So just as, just as harmonious as you'd want any marriage to be then, right?
Exactly, yes.
So we're talking about a new mode in the game, Gunsmithing. What's this all about?
So Gunsmithing is a very unique mode, something I wish would be in kind of every FPS. In this mode, you can create any weapon that you can pretty much imagine. Using the same tool that you use to build levels in this game, I can lay out exactly what type of weapon I want. Right now, I'm just going to make something.
Yeah, what would you describe
ugly.
this weapon as?
I would describe this as Gumby.
Okay,
on
Gumby
a very
after
hot day.
See, I was going to say Gumby after getting run over by a truck.
Yes, that would also work. Not probably the most effective gun, but here's where I can actually add the muzzle to Gumby.
Okay. So you kind of just create your own shape and attach like the handle point and the firing point?
Exactly.
Okay.
So, real quick, I'll leave Gumby alone and I will actually load up something a little bit more impressive and time-consuming. Let's go with the BFG.
All right.
So, where's my gun? Oh my
there
goodness,
it is.
It's right there.
It's just towering above you is all.
So, as you can see, you can build something pretty gigantic. Get as detailed as you want, and then still place your handle right where you want your character to hold it. The muzzle right where you want the player to fire from.
Now this type of gun, how long did this take to make?
I would say it probably could take between an hour to 4 hours, depending on
your general skill level.
Yeah, and then
familiarity.
I mean, I think once you start really getting into building levels, you could probably be turning out a whole bunch of guns really quickly.
Okay.
And then here's the really cool aspect is, so I have my gun, now I can actually choose what type of architecture I want it. So if I want an assault rifle, a sniper rifle, a shotgun, or more like a bazooka. So let's make this a big explosive type gun.
Yeah.
So now here's another funny part.
I can't help but notice that your character is a little diminutive.
Yeah, so he likes big guns and he cannot lie, but he can actually scale down the gun so I can make it actual size where you're really getting those fine details down there.
Okay.
And then here's where you can actually spend your points. So every gun that you create, you have 100 points that you can spend towards player damage, towards block damage, vehicle damage, and all sorts of stuff like bullets per shot, scope spread, number of clips, explosive radius, projectile speed, effects of gravity, automatic or not, all sorts of different things that make your gun unique.
Okay.
And then when you're done with that, you can actually just take it to the firing range, see if you like the results. So right now, I have a bazooka, fires pretty big holes in the wall.
Oh, yeah. I can see how that would be effective in a team deathmatch scenario.
Yeah, slightly, yes. And that's pretty much gunsmithing. I mean, what we're excited to see is just kind of giving the users the full control that the developers had in the game, creating all the weapons that come pre-made into the game and seeing what they can come up with.
All right, cool. Well, let's see some of these guns in action. Why don't we hop into a match?
So right here we have our new game mode that was just recently added. It's called Meteor Survival. So in this mode, instead of killing people, you literally just freeze them. So let me see if I can get this guy and show you. Oh, I got frozen. So you actually will turn it into a snowman, a little blocky snowman, after you get attacked, and you'll be frozen for about 10 seconds on the ground. There's a guy that got frozen. We're all frozen. And now the fun thing right here is you have this beautiful little level that someone took a lot of time to build, and now meteors are just falling and destroying it like crazy.
Now, I don't want you to get into any legal hot water here, but I can't help but say some of those figures standing overhead look a little familiar.
Possibly. I think there was something in the 70s that was pretty popular that it might take some liberties from. I think it's an ancient war in the history books. I remember reading about it. Yeah.
But like this sort of like community created map, that's sort of a big focus for you guys?
Exactly, yeah. It's really, this whole game is all about giving the community something that they can just go crazy with. I mean, that's the whole point of giving them all the tools of gunsmithing and the level creating and the prefab editor where you can actually create your own little like miniature bases to use on the fly. Oh, and I died. So now this is a standard deathmatch mode, what everybody is pretty comfortable and familiar with. You got your little mini map. I have a dead guy.
Now this is actually, is this the same gun from earlier?
BFG? It is the same gun, yes, exactly. So I was able to take the gun that I crafted and actually just bring it right into game and enjoy the spoils. Got a little red dot too. Always useful.
So give me the numbers. How many players does this game support at one time?
Depending on the map, I mean, most maps go up to 16 players, so 8 on 8. But it's constantly being expanded. There's different modes that will just be more of a 4 on 4. There's a horde type of mode that we call Onslaught, where you're just battling waves and waves of enemies, getting bigger and bigger. And that's a 4-player co-op mode. And
you mentioned earlier that you can actually import Minecraft maps into here?
Yeah, any voxel-based game, you can take the maps that have been created, which, I mean, I think at this stage are millions of maps, and actually turn them into full-on multiplayer levels. Nice. So we actually have a few of them already implemented into the game. People that have made recreations of old Halo maps and Game of Thrones type of maps. There's so many really cool stuff that the community has just built on these type of games that we really want to like not only give them the tools to build stuff in the game using the tools that we have, but also not limit them to all the stuff that they've already created throughout the years.
All right. Now, is there any sort of like that modern shooter meta game levels and whatnot, or is it more of the old school type of format? I mean, like unlocking stuff in the Call of Duty game, or like unlocking new tools and creation items and all that.
For the most part, we give everybody kind of free reign to whatever the tools that are at their access. So you're not really leveling up your character. You're gonna just kind of tweak with everything, but you do get to customize all your stuff. So, like right there, I just got my max of my kill perks, and now I can drop a helicopter.
Okay. There you go.
Take to the sky, and now it's time to show everybody who's the man.
I can see how this would be exciting if you've imported your Game of Thrones map and you're just going to town on King's Landing.
Exactly. I mean, that's the funny thing to see, especially like on game modes like Lava Survival, where the lava pit's just constantly growing. You see these levels just getting buried alive, and I mean, one of the coolest aspects, I think, is the fact that I can literally blast through a wall. So stuff like in Call of Duty or any other like shooter, when you know an enemy's like hiding or camping, I can bury or burrow a hole, go right behind a wall, and actually just headshot them right there. So because of the nature of a voxel-based game, it lets you use that to your advantage to actually come up with different strategies that you wouldn't traditionally use in an FPS.
All right, cool. Well, Ted, thanks so much for showing us Guncraft. What can you tell me about the release information?
The game will be releasing July 11th across all sorts of PC distribution platforms, RainDG, Gamersgate, Desura, ExotoGamesStudios.com, that's the developer. We are also in the top 1% on Greenlight, so we'd appreciate anybody that would love to get it on Steam, just as much as I would. Please go upvote it, and we'll be releasing it like as soon as we can on Steam.
All right, thanks a lot.
Thank you.